and private chat. Do you see that?
I see it says I'm live. I don't know if I am or not.
I don't see you live yet.
Well, it says I'm live.
Okay, there you go. Now you just came on.
It says I'm live.
I see you. I see you. I see you.
Yep. I gotta.
Yeah, I'm
I don't see. If I go to my YouTube channel, you said I could go on YouTube. Mm-hmm. If I go on YouTube,
you might want to mute your where you're down there at the bottom, so you're not mute your StreamYard right now.
well, let's see. StreamYard.
All right.
Well, it says that I am live. Mm-hmm. Yep. I should be live. First time ever. And there's Freddie. Let me see if I can click on Freddie and see what happened. Add to stream.
There you go. Good
is
job.
here.
You hear me?
I got my head over there. I might as well put it on my glasses too, and I can kind of look like Freddie.
So that's good. Now, if you go on your YouTube, click on those three dots. You can pin that link to the top.
Down. There we go. Hello, Freddie.
Hey,
I don't think I've heard you.
did you hear me?
I don't. Maybe I need to. I might hear you now. I hear you now. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I don't know. I thought I muted the other one.
See, I get this camera is on my PC on the screen, and in order to have me, I have to tilt the screen down, and then it's hard to read because now it's at an extreme. It's on kind of slant. It appears to be because I prefer my screen tilted further away from me on a slant back. I don't have like a professional type camera that most people do. I use my PC, so the microphone and the camera's built into it.
Yeah, mine is too.
So one of these days when I grow up, I'll get a better audio camera and mic or something. I have to set up my desktop. Anyways, what do you have to talk about on this beautiful Labor Day?
I'm trying to find out how to stop that other sound on my other thing.
What other sound?
On my YouTube.
Oh, you have to mute the YouTube?
I have to mute.
Right. So you can go to that YouTube and go, like I said, click up there at the top where, like, if you were going to exit out and just right click, and then a little window will pop down, and then just look down a little bit and it'll say mute tab. Mute it, or you can just go on the YouTube screen and you know where the volume is, just click on that little speaker and it'll mute it.
Yeah, now I got to get to where I can hear you here. You say something, see if I can hear you.
Happy birthday.
I hear you. Yeah, it was 13 years ago today, I made my second video on Joseph the Dreamer. And after 13 years, people are still falling for the lies. The lies have spread, and they're going to keep spreading. I mean, that's the wonderful thing about the lies. They never stop coming. I'm looking at Samuel. I'm looking at 1 Samuel, if you can hear me. I don't know if you can or not.
I hear you. 1 Samuel.
Yeah. 1 Samuel chapter 1. It said they got up early in the morning and worshiped before the Lord and returned again to their house in Ramah. This is started in verse 19. And this is before his wife Hannah conceived. This is before she gets pregnant. And Elkanah had relations with Hannah, his wife, and the Lord remembered her. Some way or another, some people think that this is Jesus doing all this stuff, you know. I
What
mean,
was it? 1 Samuel, what chapter and verse?
chapter 1,
Okay.
verse 19. I'm reading out of the newest Bible I got,
What's that?
a New American Standard 2020.
You know, I think I'm going to get me a copy of that NASB and a copy of the ESV and read those and see.
I'm still going to say the same thing. The man went home, and Hannah, the Lord remembered her. All this came about because, you know, she poured her heart out to the Lord in the earlier verse there above. And Eli said to her, "Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant your request that you have asked of him." Those are the words that you see in verse 17 of chapter 1. Eli is over the house. He's got some worthless sons, and that ain't got a thing to do with his position. He still got the position. It don't matter how worthless his sons are. And Eli said, "Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant your request that you have asked of him." And she said, "Let your bondservant find favor in your sight." So the woman went on her way and ate, and her face was no longer, you know, sad, gloomy, whatever. I mean, you remember Cain and Abel. Cain's face evidently was showing something. How has your countenance fallen? That's in chapters, you know, in Genesis. But this is in Samuel. And the man Elkanah went up with all his household to offer to the Lord the yearly sacrifice and to pay his vow. But Hannah did not go up, for she said to her husband, "I will not go up until the child is weaned. Then I will bring him so that he may appear before the Lord and stay there for life." This woman is pretty dedicated. She's not playing games. She's serious. She knows that there's a God in heaven, and she's done poured her heart out to him. And some people think that's Jesus. That makes me sick, for people to think that the Lord in this verse is Jesus. But anyway, Elkanah, her husband, said to her, "Do what seems best to you." In other words, Elkanah ain't going to tell her what to do. He's going to let his wife make the decision. Some people need to let their wives, you know, make some decisions sometimes. Do what seems best to you. Stay until you have weaned him.
Sometimes.
Only may the Lord confirm his word. What word? The word that she got from the priest. That was the word I read earlier. The word that she got was, "Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant your request that you have asked of him." These people need to understand that God does things for his offspring. These people think that we're just something else. I mean, they don't understand what human beings are, Freddie. They don't. They're blind. But anyway, so the woman stayed and nursed her son until she weaned him. Now, when she had weaned him, she took him up with her, with the 3-year-old bull, 1 ephah of flour, and a jug of wine, and brought him to the house of the Lord in Shiloh. That's where it all started. But the baby has grown some. Now she's going up. Then they slaughtered the bull and brought the boy to Eli. And he said, pardon, wait a minute. Then they slaughtered the bull and brought the boy to Eli. And she said, pardon me, my Lord. Now she is speaking to Eli here. This is who she's talking to. She's talking to Eli. As your soul lives, my Lord, I am the woman who stood beside you praying to the Lord for this boy. I prayed, and the Lord has granted me my request, which I asked of him. She didn't get this from Jesus. She did not get this from Jesus. So don't tell me that she got it from Jesus, because she didn't get it from Jesus, because Jesus hasn't even been mentioned. I have also dedicated him to the Lord, and she's not dedicated him to Jesus. This is the God of Israel. This is the God that created heaven and earth. I am sick and tired of people not understanding simple things because they've heard a bunch of bull. But anyway, I have dedicated him to the Lord. As long as he lives, he is dedicated to the Lord. And it says that he worshiped the Lord there. That's talking about Elkanah and his wife and everybody. The baby, I don't think, at weaned age is doing a whole lot of worshiping. I guess he could be if somebody wanted to think so. But anyway, then Hannah prayed and said, this is chapter 2.
Hey, may I say something?
Yeah, absolutely.
In that last bit about praying to the Lord and you're sick, that people claim it's Jesus. See, I've gotten myself in a habit when I read this, in the Old Testament, the 4 letters that are capitalized, Lord, I just get in a habit. For me personally, I just say Jehovah. I used to say Yahweh. I think I prefer Jehovah, but it's because it is God's name. And I know there's people that claim Jehovah or Yahweh is not God's name. That's fine. I'm not. It's like I said, this is just my personal preference, because the 4 letters that are capitalized is really a replacement of the Tetragrammaton.
Well, if you read in the prelude to all of this stuff in this book, it will explain to you capital Lord. It'll explain to you these others and this, that, and the other, and we're free to do what we want. But I think we need to understand that this is the God who created heaven and earth. He is the Lord. And he didn't have an angel do it for him.
Right.
He did not.
Jesus wasn't there.
He wasn't there. But Hannah is here. And in chapter 2 of this, Hannah prayed and said, my heart rejoices in the Lord. My horn is exalted in the Lord. My mouth speaks boldly against my enemies. I mean, because I rejoice in your salvation, which means his provision. Do you understand? The salvation is his provision. That's what I see it. Now, people can like it ever how they want, but she is rejoicing in what she has received, which is a child. There is no one holy like the Lord. Indeed, there is no one beside you. Now, she ain't talking to anybody but God. And she knows that God is hearing her because God has already granted her request. And she knows that she's gone to the Lord's house. Her husband had gone up, for some years earlier while she kept care of the child. Now she goes on, nor is there any rock like our God. Do not go on boasting so very proudly. Do not let arrogance come out of your mouth. For the Lord is a God of knowledge, and with him actions are weighed. This ain't talking about somebody that's going to be born years from now. She's dealing with the one who told Noah to build an ark. The bows of the mighty are broken to pieces, but those who have stumbled strap on strength. Those who were full hire themselves out for bread, but those who were hungry cease to be hungry. Even the infertile woman gives birth to 7. Oh my goodness. But those, and she goes on, but she who has many children languishes. The Lord puts to death and makes alive. That's what Jesus said. If you think about what Jesus said, I warn you whom to fear. Fear him. I mean, these people, they've heard so much stuff. When they read, they don't understand. The Lord puts to death and makes alive. He brings down to Sheol and brings up. In other words, he can kill and raise up. That's what the Lord can do. The Lord puts to death and makes alive. He brings down to Sheol and brings up. The Lord makes poor and rich. The Lord, he humbles. He also exalts. He raises the poor from the dust. He lifts the needy from the garbage heap to set them with nobles. And he gives them a seat of honor as an inheritance. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's. This is not Jesus. And if I can get anybody on the place of the planet on which I am, I want them to understand that they have been fed something they shouldn't have eaten. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he set the world on them. He watches over the feet of his godly ones. Does that mean there's some godly ones? Or are we all sorry, no good, bound to sin individuals? I don't think so, but some people seem to, because I've heard them tell me to my face, you just an old sinner, Bob. You can't do good. You can't be righteous. You are nothing but, I've done heard all their stuff for 12 years, and now I'm speaking up, and this should be going on, Bob the Builder. I want some people to understand where I stand, because I don't waver. I don't shuffle. I don't dance for them. It's kind of like Jesus said, I did this and you did that, and I did this and you did that. Well, someday there's going to be a payday.
Yeah, these people contradict scripture when they say that we can't be without sin.
Yeah, but they bring me scripture every time they try to tell me. They point me to something.
Yeah, they lack understanding.
Yeah, but they say, see right here. They say, see right here. And I tell them, yeah, I can see right there. I can see it. I definitely can see it. And I can definitely tell you that I understand more about it than they do. And Elkanah went to his home at Ramah, but the boy continued to attend to the service of the Lord before Eli the priest. Things are fixing to change when Eli passes. You know how bad they're going to change? Because Eli is going to die and they're going to be a king. They're going to be something out there that hasn't been there before. They've had the priests. They've had everything that God had up until this time. But they're fixing to be some changes made. And this child that she's leaving there, is going to play a tremendous role in it. And the sons of Eli were useless men. They did not know the Lord. Now, how can that mean they do not know the Lord? They've grown up under Eli. They're right there at the house in Shiloh. They're sticking their forks in the meat. What does they do not know the Lord? That means they do not fear him.
Yeah, they weren't obedient.
They did not fear the Lord.
Right.
Those who know the Lord should fear him. They should reverence him. They should be glad to obey him. But these boys, they're in trouble. But now there's a baby that's done been brought into the house. And guess what? His mama's going to bring him some clothes every year. And she's going to make them herself. That's what's going to happen. And this was the custom of the priests with the people. When anyone was offering a sacrifice, the priest servants would come while the meat was cooking with a 3-pronged fork in his hand. And he would thrust into the pan. Do you understand these people were cooking this stuff to eat?
Yep.
They weren't cooking it to rot. They weren't cooking it to put out for the buzzards and the animals. These things were what? For the people to eat. And things were going on. And then in chapter 2, verse 18, Samuel was ministering before the Lord, wearing a linen ephod, and his mother would make for him a little robe and bring it to him from year to year. See, the boy's growing. She's coming from year to year. She has no idea what this boy is going to do, but she knows what she has done. And then Eli would bless Elkanah and his wife and say, who is blessing Elkanah and his wife now? Eli. And he says, may the Lord give you children from this woman in place of the one she requested of the Lord. And they went to their own home. And the Lord indeed visited Hannah. This ain't Jesus. This is not Jesus that's visiting Hannah. This ain't no angel showing up. This is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And she conceived and gave birth to 3 sons and 2 daughters. And the boy Samuel grew up before the Lord. Oh, Eli was very old. He's done got old. I don't know how old, but he's done got old. And he is understanding that his sons are doing some stuff to all Israel. And they slept with the women. You know, women have been good to sleep with, I guess, ever since God created them. It sure beats sleeping with the horse. That's why God, you know, after he made all them animals, he said, there ain't nothing here suitable for Adam. I'm going to have to fix him something. And I'm sure that God used both hands when he did the surgery. I don't think God has got 8 hands. I don't think he needs but 2. Just like he don't need but 2 feet.
Or just a spoken word.
That's what some people think. He can speak, he can act, he can do. He put Adam to sleep. He's got all kind of ways. But yeah, if he declares something and decrees it, you can watch it come to pass. Because it was God who decreed to Noah that there's going to be a flood and I'm fixing to kill everybody that's on the face of the earth. It wasn't Jesus talking to Noah like these people want me to think. But that's okay. I'm Bob the Builder today. Freddie. And he goes on. Let's see. Indeed, I say that your house and the house of your father was to walk before me forever. But now the Lord declares, here's something he's going to say. When the Lord declares, he's speaking. That's exactly what that means. When the Lord declares, he's speaking. And the Lord declares. Now the Lord declares, far be it from me. For those who honor me, I will honor. But those who despise me will be insignificant. Uh-oh. Who is the Lord of heaven and earth? Has it changed? No, it hasn't. If you think it has, it hasn't. The Lord of heaven and earth is the same Lord of heaven and earth that Jesus looked to and said, I praise thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth. And he going to do with it what he wants. And he told Jesus where to sit. And if he wants Jesus, he can, speak to him. And I'm sure Jesus will hear him. But anyway, it happened. Yet I will not cut off every man of yours from my altar, so that your eyes will fail from weeping and your soul grieve, and all the increase of your house will die in the prime of life. Yet I will not cut off. See, in other words, God's going to have some mercy. You understand? He's still going to have some mercy. I mean, it's good that God has mercy. And this will be the sign to you, which will come in regard to your two sons, Hophni and Phinehas. On the same day, both of them will die. Oh, but this can't be great news. But it's still what the Lord said, right? And this will be the sign to you, which will come in regard to your two sons, Hophni and Phinehas. On the same day, both of them will die, but I will raise up for myself a faithful priest who will do according to what is in my heart and my soul, and I will build him an enduring house, and he will walk before my anointed always. And everyone who is left in your house will come to bow down to him for a silver coin or a loaf of bread and say, please assign me to one of the priest's offices so that I may eat a piece of bread. And the boy Samuel was attending to the service of the Lord before Eli. And the word from the Lord was rare in those days, and visions were infrequent. But that's not going to stop this from happening. But it happened at that time. Eli was lying down in his place. His eyesight wasn't that good. He could not see well, and the lamp of God had not yet gone out. That means he was still breathing. He still had some life. He could still see a little bit. I'm going to answer this, and I'm not going to mute. So, Bojo is live on StreamYard. Yeah, but I haven't got you on speakerphone. So Freddie is listening to me because I didn't mute my mic. I guess I could. But anyway, I just wanted you to know that I have moved up into StreamYard today on this Labor Day, and I'm reading some stuff here, and if you feel it would it would do me good to hear from you later today if you find it in your heart. You can find me live, and it's Bojo. You hear me? It's Bojo on the screen. All right. Well, I'm on there right now, and I'm hanging up the phone. It's me and Freddie. It's thundering outside. Can you hear the thunder? It's coming. It's fixing to rain outside. Thunderstorms are coming. I can hear the thunder.
No, I don't quite hear anything.
Well, if I opened the door, I'm sure you could. That was my friend from Idaho. His name is Josiah. He's just got a New Testament out that people are not going to.
Theophilus Josiah?
Theophilus Josiah. That is exactly. He was here in this building where I am right now last year. He was here with me. He had a real good time that Sunday afternoon, but he got COVID the next morning. But he had a good Sunday afternoon. But yeah, Theophilus Josiah. But now look, Samuel, he is going to get some information here.
What verse you on?
I'm in chapter 3.
Yeah, I was wondering.
I'm in chapter 3. I've just got through where he finds out that Hophni and Phinehas is going to die on the same day.
Yeah, because I was trying to keep up, but kind of lost me. But I was going to try to point out.
Well, this was the sign that would be that he could understand that this was from God, because both of them boys were going to die at the same time.
Right,
That's
but
that is a sign.
I was going to point out verse 26, how that sounds very similar to something in the New Testament.
I'm sure it does. In verse 26,
chapter 2, verse 26.
Yeah,
something we find in Luke.
Yeah, you do. You're exactly right, Freddie. The boy continued to grow in the grace and favor with God and men, people, right? Is that what you're talking about? You right. Absolutely.
Exactly.
That means when babies are born, they're really being babies that are born. That they didn't come over here from La La Land. Some people think all these babies are, they got these spirits fighting in heaven to get to become babies. I've done heard all this stuff, Freddie. I mean, they done believe some stuff, Freddie. But the boy Samuel was attending the service of the Lord before Eli. And you remember the word of the Lord was rare in those days and visions were infrequent. This is chapter 3. But it happened at that time, as Eli was lying down in his place, and like I said, he couldn't see too good, but he's still breathing because the lamp of the Lord, you remember there's a place in the New Testament, a smoldering wick, he will not, put out somewhere. I read that somewhere. I'm not going there now. But Samuel was lying down in the temple of the Lord where the ark of God was. Now, this ark of God, you don't want to touch that thing if you're not supposed to touch it. You understand?
Right.
I mean, somebody found that out, back there when they got close to the water and the thing got a little shaky. It just didn't pay off too good, did it? But anyway, and the Lord called Samuel. He didn't send an angel. It says the Lord called Samuel. I like that. He heard his voice. He's speaking. He's saying something. And Samuel hears him. And he said, "Here I am." Then he ran to Eli and said, "Here I am, for you called me." But he said, "I did not call you. Go back and lie down." So he went and lay down. And the Lord called again, "Samuel." See? Samuel can hear God say, "Samuel." Just like I can hear God say, "Bob." That's all he's got to say. Bob. I like it. I like to hear God speak. And anyway, the Lord called yet again Samuel. So Samuel got up and went to Eli and said, "Here I am, for you called me." But he said, "I didn't call you, my son. Go back and lie down." Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord, but he's been ministering for days. He's done some things for years. He has been there quite a few days. But now he's going to find out that he can know the Lord. And Samuel did not know the Lord, nor had the word of the Lord yet been revealed to him, but he's heard his name, hadn't he? So the Lord called Samuel again for the third time, and he got up and went to Eli and said, "Here I am, for you called me." Then Eli realized. I mean, it's about time. Eli realized. In other words, Eli can't hear too well, but the Lord might not have been talking to him anyway. But I don't know, but he couldn't see too good, remember? He was old. But anyway, Eli realized that the Lord was calling the boy. And these people are going to try to tell me it was Jesus. Freddie, you know how far they're going to get. Yeah. And Eli said to Samuel, "Go lie down, and it shall be, if he calls you, that you shall say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.'" I'm getting pretty good at that.
That's good.
Yeah, it is good. I mean, if it was good back then, it should be good now, right?
Absolutely.
And what happened? So Samuel went and he lay right back down in his place. I remember in 2010, I found myself on the floor in my bedroom against the wall. I don't know how I got out of my bed on the floor against the wall, but I didn't have any problem hearing what God said to me. I didn't have any problem at all. Matter of fact, I got up and wrote it down. I don't know, but all I know is I heard what he said. But Samuel said, "Speak, for your servant is listening." Then the Lord said to Samuel, "Behold, I'm going to do a thing in Israel, and the ears of everyone who hears it will ring. On that day, I will carry out against Eli everything that I have spoken in regard to his house." And these people had better take heed that the false prophets have spread the false gospel over the face of the earth. There is a gospel, but this is way before Jesus appears. And guess what? For I have told him that I am going to judge his house forever. Woo-woo. for the wrongdoing that he knew, because his sons were bringing a curse on themselves, and he did not rebuke them. And it's a shame that people don't get rebuked for sin anymore. That's a shame. And just let it be known here today that I said it. He did not rebuke them. Therefore, I have sworn to the house of Eli that the wrongdoing of Eli's house shall never be atoned for by sacrifice or offering. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Who made this declaration?
God.
And Samuel lay down until morning, and he opened the doors of the house of the Lord. But Samuel was afraid to tell the vision to Eli. In other words, he done seen something and heard something. That's what a vision is.
Right.
He's seen something and heard something, but he's afraid to tell Eli. But he ain't going to be afraid long because of the words that Eli is fixing to say. Listen to these words. Then Eli called Samuel and said, Samuel, my son. And he said, here I am. And he said, what is the word that he spoke to you? Woo-woo. Please do not hide it from me. May God do to you the same to you and more. So if you hide a word from me of all the words that he spoke to you. Eli has done put some pressure on the kid right here. You understand? This boy has been around to find out some stuff about what Eli says and how things happen. So Samuel told him everything and hid nothing from him. That's pretty smart, ain't it?
Yes, it is.
That's pretty smart. And he said, he is the Lord. Let him do what seems good to him. That was the smartest thing that Eli could probably have said. Yeah, at least Eli, who knows who the Lord was, and these people today think Jesus is. Well, guess what? I'm going to tell them otherwise.
I heard that.
Huh?
I heard that.
Yeah, I can open the door and it'll be louder. Yeah. This may be a sign from heaven. You understand? I mean, God.
Everything could be a sign.
That's right. Now Samuel grew, and the Lord was with him. Why don't people understand what it means to have the Lord with them? I mean, I tell these people, the Lord is with me. And they look at me like, ain't no way. The Lord ain't with you, Bob. Oh, really? That's not what he told me this morning.
So we could say Samuel at this point was called Emmanuel.
All I know is Samuel grew and the Lord was with him, and he let none of his words fail. That's what happens when the Lord is with you. He does not let your words fail. That's when you can know that the person has spoken and the Lord is with him. And we're fixing to see some stuff on the earth. It's going to become evident in the days ahead. If you want to take that as prophecy, let it be. But anyway, and all Israel from Dan even to Beersheba knew that Samuel was confirmed as a prophet of the Lord. And the Lord appeared again at Shiloh, because the Lord revealed himself to Samuel at Shiloh, and he also spoke to him. I haven't seen the Lord. I didn't claim to have seen the Lord. If I see him, I promise you, I will let somebody know. But so far, I haven't had to see him. I have heard him tell me this, and to get it on for record. There was a day that I didn't want to go to Russia. It was 30 years ago. And I was praying about going to Russia. And the reply came to me from God himself. Bob, you don't want to be in Colorado and hear my audible voice. And that's all he had to say to me. Because the next day I bought my plane ticket to Russia. And I spent me 15 or 14 days in Russia. And it was sure better hearing his voice while I'm in Russia. I bet he was right. Because it wouldn't have done me no good to be in Colorado and hear his audible voice. Because he said, I would just simply ask you what you're doing there, and the rocks would fall. No, some people need to wake up. They really do need to wake up. So the word of Samuel came to all of Israel. Now Israel went out to meet the Philistines in battle. I mean, it's amazing how them Philistines is always battling.
Yeah.
They just don't quit, do they? And it tells some people in the name. But anyway, let's take the ark of the covenant of the Lord from Shiloh, so that he may come among us and save us from the power of our enemies. Let me just tell you, if you're not protected by the power of God for salvation to be revealed in the last days, what can I say? I mean, it's kind of obvious. If you're not protected by the power of the Lord in the last days, certain things will befall you. And it says somewhere in Revelation that there was silence in heaven while some were marked. Some were marked. Now, these people that are being marked are not in heaven. That's not where they are. The battle is here. And these people are not submitting to God. They think they are. They'll tell you they are. But if they aren't, then that just means they're deceived. And I'm not afraid to put on glasses, take off a hat. If the word of the Lord comes to me, woe be unto the person that gets it. It's kind of like Paul told Timothy, you know what you're supposed to do, and I'm sending you back to do it. And all we got is a bunch of, I'm not sure what we got, but I really don't think they know what they should know or know what they could know, because we can know the Lord. according to Jesus. And they tell me that I don't know what's in this book. They don't know what I know about that book. But they sure don't know what I know about the one who sits on the throne in heaven and gives commands. And if he's got sons and daughters, if God's got sons and daughters, I think they should start paying attention to their father. And let's see. Yep, it's 3 o'clock. I got the hour in, thanks to Freddie. Now, how am I going to close all this stuff out? Does it just do it automatically if I leave the studio? You're mute.
You have to close it out, otherwise it'll stay on. So
Well,
you go back up to the upper right where it says end broadcast.
Yep, I see it.
So click, you could, before you click it, if you want to say anything, but you're going to click it, then it'll pop up again to end broadcast just to confirm it. So,
okay. Yeah, I do want to say something. I do. I want to say thank you, Freddie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Freddie. Okay.
Well, thank you for having me on. Anyway, I appreciate it.
Freddie, I mean, I plan to have some more, and I mean, some people can get on. I mean, you preaching the gospel. The reason that the gospel is preached is so that somebody can hear.
Right.
Because unless they hear, they can't make decisions. And I've done listen to the same thing you listen to all the time in that clubhouse. They got some people speaking in there that they shouldn't ought to be calling themselves teachers, Freddie.
Yeah, clubhouse can be okay, but
it is what it is. I mean,
yeah, sometimes it's just a little too much.
Hey, evidently, when Jesus preached in his synagogue after, coming out from the wilderness and having the wedding deal, they wanted to kill him.
Right.
If they weren't impressed with the Spirit of the Lord is upon me and he has anointed me, they weren't impressed. But they didn't need to be impressed. I mean,
right.
It is what it is. It was what it was. And I'm going to end the broadcast, but I definitely want to say and let everybody know, thank you, Freddie. Okay.
Well, thank you. I didn't do anything, but I thank you. And
you encouraged me with your presence, Freddie.
Well, you keep preaching the word so the word can get out there.
Freddie, you keep encouraging and saying whatever you need to say, Freddie. We're trying to get a crown, Freddie. If you don't get this crown, you just ain't gonna get the crown.
Right.
I know some stuff about the crowns, but anyway, thank you. And this is my video for today. It says 58 minutes and 36 seconds, and I'm going to end the broadcast. It says,
well, thank you. I'll remove myself. Thank you.
Well, go ahead, and I'll.
Peace. Peace.
All right. Freddie's gone, and I'm fixing to see if I can get gone. Yeah. Labor Day. I'm laboring and striving. I am. For this. It's worth it. It is for me anyway. Thank you very much. I am ending the video.